My friends. It always sounds so dopey, but seriously, hi there. I was thinking about the phrase, nature abhors a vacuum. Just in the, what started it up for me was just the idea that when something leaves your life, it really is a chance to take some control, be mindful about what might fill that space, so that the loss becomes an opportunity really to decide what you want to fill up on. And so I looked it up. Nature abhors a vacuum. It was Aristotle. And it's just that, the idea that unfilled spaces go against the laws of nature. And that emptiness kind of invites in a something. And I think we can, if we're kind of aware of that, I mean, it just occurred to me this morning, like, whatever I feel the loss of or the emptiness about, yes, feel it, feel your way through it, but then you can open to the fact that there's space. And that even nature, goes in that direction to fill it, but it goes there sort of in a neutral way. It'll fill it with whatever's handy. So I just feel like there's a way to be proactive in what you bring in once you've let go of the other thing. I mean, it's sort of duh, but it felt for me kind of it had a new application in terms of how to think about change and out with the old air, in with the new air. Aristotle was talking about, it's a principle. It's not just sort of a new age kind of, And I read somewhere that the quantum physics or whatever the new stuff isn't quite sure that that's even true. True. I mean, not abhor a vacuum, but the psyche does. I think the psyche does. And that's one reason it's so useful to calm it down, if possible, to kind of in the quiet of a meditative place, just in a place where you're focusing on something so that the rest of the busyness just kind of has a chance to settle and quiet. And it will. It takes a while. Doesn't go without a fight. But, that's sort of actively expanding that space for potential. And then you manifest like a mofo. And that's the part I'm not quite so sure about how that works. Although I think I do it. We all do. Oh God, for a second I thought that was magician. That's what my mind wanted to see, the manifester. This is sort of like the investigator. This is Page of Swords. We got the woman crossing the abyss on a little, maybe not even a 2x4. It's very skinny. And she's consulting the book, nose in the book, but navigating through this, something that breaches the gap. And Page of Swords usually is the investigation, the question, the study. She's got the light bulbs sort of like balloons over her head, the Enlightenment, birds flying around her head, So it could even be messages from beyond. But she's studying something. Okay. 10 of Pentacles. This is sort of like it can be family, legacy, sometimes even in the sort of heavy sense of it. You know, family legacy. But it's also just a completion, you know, in a place with the people that are important to you, where your roots are, you know, where you in this lifetime can come together and be physically near each other. This is a card of Pentacles, of earth energy, of the physical. Queen of Wands. This is fire sign energy. Queen of Wands is a little bit of a wild woman. She's creative, she's inspired, she's tapped in, you know, and she is somebody who can see through inauthenticity in other people. She doesn't, well, she feels it. She sees through it in the sense that, like, vibrationally, I mean, it sounds sort of hokey, but this is the real thing. This is somebody who can read the room. And it might be somebody learning about that energy, you know, trying to figure it out. Trying to figure out Queen of Wands and her abundance, maybe. That she's manifested such a full life, 10 of Pentacles. Tell us more, tell us more. What's the lesson? What's she studying? Is she the air sign? Studying hermit. This is the sage who studies the self in order to sort of empty the self, or pours a vacuum. This is kind of like you go into the solitude where there's not a lot of distractions, and you try to get to the sort of internal, not empty place, but it's a bit like that. It's sort of like that meditative, when I was saying you just quiet everything down. That's what Hermit does. It's a card of quiet and introspection. A sort of an emptying of the self, in a way. An emptying of the environment. And not a literal environment, but some space in your psyche. And you come away with some wisdom, some enlightenment, something that actually, in this case, she's lit up. Traditionally, it depicts a person with a lantern, but in this case, there's a lantern down here, but she's the lantern, basically. It's like, and there's a path leading up, you know, to the hermit's perch. It's the card of a seer. But yeah, like making that space. Well, here's the meditative. You know, Hermit is major arcana, forces in the psyche, that we all share that same cast of characters, basically. This is the living version of that hermit energy. It isn't always, 7 of Wands doesn't always look like this. But to me, this is I always look at it as kind of a bubble of meditation. I mean, she's in yoga posture. And the only thing that's always puzzling to me a little bit is that she's looking sideways. You know, as if she's in this bubble in order to ignore something. It's less a meditative focus than it is trying to take her mind off something, seems to me. Her, him, they. But it's in the same energy as Queen of Wands. Hermit, meditative, 7 of Wands. Oh my goodness, 4 of Wands. Another Wands energy, a lot of fire here. This is the card of reunion, of joy, of coming together. I mean, look at them go. They're doing the dance, they have the tambourine, they're just in this wild, the kind of wind-blown, you know, their own dancing is like creating this whirlwind. Things are heating up. Two pretty contradictory energies. I mean, on the one hand, you have Hermit and this kind of 7 of Wands person in the bubble. And then you have this card, which is a card of engagement, celebration, coming together. You know, outside the fire tent here. Okay. Well, this is a little bit like the vacuum, isn't it? Because if, you know, here she is in the bubble, and that's the kind of, in a lab, I'm not a scientist, but there's something about like a vacuum sealed container. It's as if she's in a vacuum sealed container, and there are all these wands here down below, you know, poking at it. Almost as if to burst the bubble. I don't know the physics behind the bubble and how it holds its shape and all that. It's surface tension or something. So how do we get from here to there? Somebody's learning about, what are we learning about? Let's start with that Page of Swords. Spirit, spirit. 6 of Pentacles. More earth energy. This is what would fill, this is not a vacuum. This is what would maybe fill a vacuum. This is something tangible, and it's not an absence. It's a presence. Sorry, I got something in my eye. And here it's sort of depicted as coins going from one hand to the other, but they almost look like I mean, one has the symbol of the pentacle on it, but they almost look to me like slices of fruit. It's not necessarily money. Energetic currency. So it's something about learning about give and take. What could fill the vacuum? You know, what material thing are we going to put in place of something that's been taken away? Tell me about the 10 of Pentacles then, because that's not taken away. That's like the full cup. world. The ending of something, the beginning of something else. And tens are indicate that very thing, a completion of some sort. In pentacle energy, like maybe the whole scene is gonna change or evolve. Major Arcana card. So on this card of Ten of Pentacles, of a full cycle of the 3D stuff, plenty. In terms of material stuff, but not necessarily money, or it's not a negative card. But tens indicate completion, and so does this. Some cycle. And maybe from study to the actual physical exchange. But let's see, what's Queen of Wands? What say you? Oh, duplicate deck. Queen of Wands, Queen of Wands. Well, and if this is supposed to be the end of a cycle, but you get the next card out is the same card that you're clarifying, apparently it's not quite the end of a cycle. It may be another iteration, but she's back. And maybe that's exactly it. See this person stepping through the opening as a new version of themselves. It's bigger than how I'm able to put it into words. It sounds sort of trite, but wow. Don't quite get that yet. Let's keep going. Hermit. What's the enlightenment? What's the lesson? What has the hermit learned about themselves and about the world? Okay. Hermit's a card of Virgo. Nine of Pentacles is a card of Virgo. What have they learned about the world and about themselves? Well, this is the themselves part of it. Nine of Pentacles speaks to the self, the independent, self-sustaining individual, self-sustaining self. In earth energy, in this life, on the level of what we do every day, what we grow, what we invest in, who we are, this is the authentic one. Maybe that's what she has discovered. She fills the void. And Ace of Wands. And I said, what has she learned about herself and about the world? Well, this would be what she's learned about the world. And it has to do with her inner vision. Ace of Wands. Fire energy of the Queen of Wands and of the Four of Wands. So, Ace on the 4. I think it's being able to envision this place. This sort of, it's almost like idealizing it, but not in the sense of being falsely optimistic, just making it first comes as an idea, idealizing, and then, it's manifestation. It's exactly that. If there's a void, what do you want to envision to fill the void? I don't see a void here anywhere yet. I don't see a void. Well, a vacuum. I mean, they're sort of the same thing. Seven of Wands, please. What what's the vacuum seal aspect of the Seven of Wands? What's she keeping out? What's she keeping in? Massive amount of stuff. Okay. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Wands. So I think it has to do with feelings, with some kind of love maybe coming in to fill the vacuum. Knights are messengers. Sometimes the message is the person. You know, that they show up. This guy's showing up with the flowers and a picnic. You know, having ridden in on his white steed. I can't, okay, this was all on the vacuum. So we'll take it one at a time. So we have Knight of Cups. He's coming in. Nine of Cups. This is what you want. Somebody wants it, and it comes. Something joyful, something celebratory. It's like everything and more. It may be what's coming in is like overwhelming passion. You know, there's this sort of sweetness of the Knight of Cups and this joy. This is just what I want. And then, no, devil energy. What are we to make of that? Temperance, a card of balance. Devil can be a card of extremes. Temperance is a fire sign, same as Queen of Wands. Devil is an earth sign, same as Hermit. Temperance is Sagittarius, and it's a card of balance and healing, of the two things in a blend, kind of an alchemical blend. And that idea of temperance, of like moderating or tempering, you know, tempering the effects of something. Temperance on devil, it could be this intense passion, and then in comes this sort of the angelic presence to, you know, it's sort of like simmer down. When the pot is boiling over, you can. Another card of balance. Two of Pentacles. The dance of change. We're going to start putting them over here just so we can see what we're doing. A choice. Knight of Pentacles. A more practical energy than Knight of Cups. You know, this is about building something step by step by step. He's not riding the horse, he's walking in. And these pentacles are almost like, I see them as sort of like weights. You know, slowing it down, maybe? A choice to go slowly. Two of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. About this love thing. The love thing. Ace of Cups. It's like the heart slowly, something's building. You know, slowly but surely in an individual, perhaps an earth sign. Choosing the opportunity for new love, for a heart activation, and look at you. Queen of Cups. A lot of cups on the board. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. and really just is about the energy of I mean, look at her, opening to love. I sometimes do that before a reading. I just go like this because it's sort of a way to invite in the energy of the chi of universal light. Ace of Cups, Queen of Cups, Two of Cups. For real? I think it's for real. I mean, this is the sort of for real earth energy aspect of it. But look at, I mean, they're intertwined. And there was that question of manifestation. And that's almost the attitude she's in, is you know, it's like, again, the self-love, the source love. She's sort of inviting in. And there's Two of Cups. I don't know if it's just like praying for it. I think it's also, it's, you know, prayer is kind of a two-way street. You know, you send out the call and the universe sends out the response. There's the energy flows that away. So it's between this character and sort of the universal love. She's bringing it in, she's channeling into her heart and then into a relationship. So tell me about the devil, though. That's a little, is that passion? Is that, I don't know, because it's a wish fulfillment. It has to do with love. Knight of Cups, Nine of Cups, Temperance. I think it's to do with like crazy passion. Oh, we got that the other. Ten of Swords. Walking away from something. It's over. End of a cycle. Another 10. And this is pretty, sometimes it's depicted as a very violent death. This is just it's over and somebody's walking away. And that's not, there's nothing about this suggests that's a bad thing. She's being guided to do so. She, he, they. So maybe it's the end of a cycle of toxicity? Because somehow some element of the divine, of God within and without has tempered this. Tell us about the end of the cycle, please. It's always at this point in the reading I'm thinking, how are we ever going to get there from here? Well, there's the new beginning. It's fresh. It's lively. Look at her go. She's tossing her wand into the air. It's acrobatic. It's full of life and movement. So whatever's over the horizon after this ending is again in that fire energy of just, I'm awake, I'm alive. Page of Cups. You know, my heart is, you know, glad to be alive. I can feel. It feels good. It's a coming back to life, and you know, I almost hesitate to say it because it sounds so sort of like I mean, it's the same message we get a lot. You know, ending, new beginning, ending, new beginning. Well, that's sort of nature abhors a vacuum. You know, something's over, end of that cycle, a whole new way of being in the world. What comes in? Life force and love. And we were clarifying devil. So I think maybe it's sort of like somebody comes in, perhaps a water sign, offering kind of a dream come true. And I think part of the dream come true is that this toxic energy, which has somehow been released, that is replaced by temperance, by the healing, balanced energy. Devil is very often just extremes, extreme passion, extreme attachment, extreme codependence. There's been a liberation of that kind, and it has to do with closing out this cycle. Ten of Swords, perhaps a painful ending. So I think it's great. I don't quite understand which character, you know, we have Virgo on the board, this sort of independent, earthy energy. We have the Queen of Pentacles twice over, this fireball. Very good Wands energy all over the board. And good Pentacles energy. Two of Pentacles, the weighing up of something. Knight of Pentacles, the slow forward movement. Devil is earth energy. And the way I read it is the ability to work with what holds you back. Getting what you want, getting... So what are we getting? It looks like abundance, equal give and take, like almost meeting your match, Queen of Wands, with somebody who is similarly creative, fireball energy, lights up the room kind of person. And yet there's this very grounded element of the Virgo Knight of Pentacles. So just give us a little bit more on Knight of Cups, Nine of Cups, Two of Cups, Queen of Cups. I think there's a love offer coming in, and it's going to meet with, you know, meet your match. It's meet your match time. They keep saying that. And it's like, what? Yeah, anything else you can tell us about, you know, what's happening here? How did this happen? Maybe that's a bad question. Maybe we should just... Somebody was trying to think through something about how to work together with other people, play nicely. Wow. And again, the Four of Wands. To build a kind of... Fours speak to structure. I'm hearing the song Love Shack. You know, I think it's the Bengals or the B-52s, one of those guys. Love Shack. No, take you to the Love Shack. sugar shack, you know. Dancing in the street. And it's as if somebody can't believe it, that this will come into 3D. What will make us believe this, please? And then we're going to shut it down. So give us a good answer. Please. Oh. Crossroads. A decision. And it might be because these guys are trying to disentangle this blindfolded individual who's caught up in sword energy, some sort of thinking block. And that's what happens. You know, it's almost like a systems overload. Can't compute. Everything's going to shut down. So there's that mental impasse in trying to think about how to cooperate and get there. Ooh, I hate this. Empress. I mean, I was going to ask, what is this metal block? What is this about? Blah, blah, blah. I think that that's like a red herring. You know, it's a path we don't even need to go down to try to puzzle through something. Nature abhors a vacuum. I mean, that's sort of the principle of that. It's like the plant that grow, the volunteer plants in along the side of the road. The dandelion poking up through the crack in the sidewalk. Life is a force to contend with. And this is like Gaia life force, the feminine principle, birth and rebirth. So if there's a mental struggle about, you know, how am I to think about this Four of Wands? How do we do this in 3D? How do we come together? I think Empress would say, like, we're already together. You know, it's here. Fertile ground. And it's sort of an answer to how, Five of Swords, do we do this cooperative thing? Well, this is kind of like, you know, that's what we were born to do. We're here. We're on the earth. We're part of the earth. Nature abhors a vacuum, you know. It's fertile. It's real. It nurtures us. We need to nurture it as an energy of creativity and, you know, to have a sort of, to create enough space in our psyches for all of it. For the universe, for the world. That's within us. No vacuum there. So there's nothing about abhor in this reading. It's just like nature sort of embraces the vacuum and fills it. I think that's it, guys. Amigos. We have on the board Capricorn, Sagittarius, Virgo, Taurus, Empress is Taurus, and all the earth signs, really. Some people say Libra too. Lots of wand energy, lots of fire sign energy. Lots of water energy. But those are the majors. Also world, the fixed signs. Yeah. I like it because it's both, you know, there's this meditative aspect and then this intense earth. You know, we've got Taurus and Virgo. Capricorn. You know, it's sort of like bring it in. Bring it in. I'm surprised Magician isn't here. We don't see the card of as above, so below. We just sort of see the results. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Yeah, it's a fiery world. You know, and it may start with this ability to have the vision, as Hermit does. You know, Hermit has the light. It's inside. That's a consistent message here. You're lit up. It's you. Lit up. So light up, guys. Till next time.